Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a haul video I'm really excited to talk about. I went to Goodwill this week and filled my cart once again. Some of the items I picked up I think will bring a really good return, and some I put in my cart just because I loved them and I didn't want to leave them on the shelf. So stick around and please like and subscribe and we'll go through this haul together. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share a haul video with you. I went to one of the Goodwills this week, and this is the big Goodwill that is under construction, but they are almost finished. And the Goodwill's hard good department has expanded. They now are going to be able to bring out 2 to 3 times at least the hard goods that they normally bring out. So you can be sure I'm filling my carts. But I went this week and I want to show you what I found. Most of what I'm going to share are hard goods. And let's get started. The first item that I'm going to show is a 1930s, this was originally a stand mirror. It stood on a dresser for a woman to put on her makeup or do her hair. And the back of the stand is missing. But I felt the ornateness of this frame, the beauty of it, was worth picking this up. And you can see my lighting. Real happy with this find. I paid $4.97 for this, and this will probably bring about the $30 mark. Again, 1930s, true vintage, not quite an antique yet, but I'm really happy with this find. The next item that I'm going to show you are French bubble bath bottles. One is a shower gel and one is bubble bath. Because they've used the term shower gel on these bottles, I don't believe that they're true vintage. I don't know that shower gel, that term was used, say 50 years ago, 30 years ago. So I'm guessing these are more contemporary, but I felt that the graphic on them was so beautiful. It's like an Art Deco print of women. So pretty, flapper style, 1930s style. So I got the 2 bottles for $2.97. They were taped together, and I have done no research on these. A lot of this is in French, but I will look them up to see what they bring. But I felt that these were good enough to put in my cart. Next item is not as glamorous. They are wooden bowls. These are teak bowls that are vintage. And I got a set of 6 of them. It's missing the large salad bowl that usually comes with this set. These don't bring a high profit, but I felt that I couldn't leave these behind because the wood is so beautiful. So this is a teak. They're made in Thailand usually, and it's a deep bowl. It has a free-form top. And when I see these, I love these bowls. So I did pick them up, and I'm probably only going to get, I'm going to guess $20 to $25 for the 6 bowls. You get a little bit more if you have the large salad bowl, but you never get a lot with these bowls. But I couldn't leave these behind. They were so pretty. So 6 small bowls. Did I say what I paid? I believe I paid $4.97, and hopefully I'll get $25. So the next item is another set of bowls. These are monkey pod bowls. Sometimes it's confused with acacia wood, but these are from the monkey pod tree. They are mid-century modern, that age. Monkey pod bowls come in a lot of fun shapes, pineapples, the suit from a deck of playing cards. So again, these don't bring a high value. I paid $6.97 for this set. I got the large bowl also, which I'll bring up and show you. They do have some wear on them. So again, I won't get a high dollar for these, but I couldn't leave them behind. They were too pretty. The next item is a set of candlesticks. These are vintage. I'm not sure what the metal is. Truthfully, I don't know, but they're a cast metal. So anytime I'm unsure of what type of metal something is made out of, I will put unknown or unsure in the item specifics. The tops are crystal, and they were just so pretty. I love this style, very French, very Parisian, even Italian. I'll use all those keywords, and I loved these. So these, I paid $6.97 for the set, and I will probably ask about the $40 mark, if not higher. So the next item is not really a hard good, but it's my video, so I'm putting these in. Look at these shoes. These shoes are a woman's size 14. And when I saw these shoes, and they were sitting in the hard goods section on a shelf, I thought for a second they were vases or something. I've never seen a 14 shoe, but these shoes are really well made, and they are called Pleaser. Let me see if I could show that to you. So we will just leave that right there and not make a comment about it, but yes to size 14 shoes called Pleaser. The next item that I'll show is hook and loop tape adhesive. This is 2 full rolls of 25 yards. So they are new in package, and we all know Velcro is a word that you do not use on eBay at any time, and these don't have the Velcro brand on them, but I'm very careful not to use that term because you'll get a Vero, because the Velcro company is very strict about anybody using their brand name word. So I will call these hook and loop. Hook and loop tape is very expensive in the store. If you've ever gone into a fabric store to buy Velcro or hook and loop tape, it can be pricey. So when I saw 2 rolls, brand new, 25 yards, I thought this was a great find, and I believe I paid $2.97 for these. And I'm gonna have to look up comps, but I'm guessing that this is gonna bring over $30, $35. So yes to hook and loop tape. The next item is a Pottery Barn pillow sham. You guys know I love my Pottery Barn. It's new in package. I will disclose that the package looks a little bit dusty. With Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, West Elm, those are the 3 brands of linens I really look for. I always disclose if it looks a little bit tattered or a little bit handled. I always want the buyer to be pleased with what they're getting. So this is called the Scallop Patchwork Sham. Very easy to list. I just photograph 1 shot front, 1 shot back, zoom in on the label, done. So I believe I have this listed for $25 or $30. Pottery Barn is so well looked for, so well visited on eBay that I always do well with Pottery Barn. The next item up is a duck. I'm on a duck trend lately. I don't even really like ducks. So here's a story. One day I was in my backyard when I lived on Long Island, and I was gardening. I had very big gardens that I had to weed a lot. And I was gardening, and I had a rake in my hand or a hoe. And all of a sudden, a neighbor's duck came into my yard. Everybody had a lot of animals in that area, and bit me on the calf and left a very big bruise. I was so shocked, and I really don't like ducks. But recently I sold a wooden duck decoy for, I believe I got $400 for him. So I really don't like ducks, but I do like them when I can make money on them. So that's why I picked up this little guy. This is a glazed pottery or stoneware dish. No markings on it, but so well painted, so well done. Absolutely yes. Just purely going by the paint job and the glaze. If anybody knows what maker this might be or information, I would love if you'd leave a comment down below. The next item that I saw was this lampshade. This lampshade is beautiful. I'm not exactly sure if this is hand painted. I keep feeling it to see if there's texture. If you feel texture in it, most of the times it will be a decal. This does not have any texture, but it doesn't quite look hand painted. So to be truthful, I'm not quite sure what I have here. It's one of those items, but it's so beautiful that I believe I listed this at $200. This is about, I'm gonna say about 10 or 11 inches high. And I think a winery or somebody who loves wine needs this in their wine room. So I might have even put that in the title. So yes to beautiful painted pieces, even when you're not sure if it's a decal or not. And you just disclose that you're not entirely positive it's hand painted. The next item that I found is a sugar and creamer. This is Copeland Spode's Jewel. It has a textured design on it, and it has a rose pattern to it. The 2 pieces, because they're sugar and creamer, will bring a higher value than if you had 2 pieces like 2 luncheon plates or 2 dinner plates. People look for the accessories to their set. So having said this, this is in very good condition, but it does have a small chip on the edge, and I will disclose that, of course. So that will greatly lower the desirability because people that collect Spode usually want this in excellent condition. So I'm going to guess that I'll get about $25 for the 2 pieces, really 3 pieces with the lid, and I paid $3.97. So yes to these, they're too pretty. If you ever find the teapot brings very good money. I'm gonna say the teapot probably brings around the $200 mark. So yes to Spode, Copeland, Heath and Roses. This next item I saw from very far away. I don't know a lot about pottery of this sort. It's a Japanese geisha girl. But look at that graphic. That graphic and coloring is too good. Sorry for the reflection from the lighting. It has markings on it in Japanese, which I don't speak Japanese. So if anybody knows Japanese, could you tell me what this says? There we go. But I thought this was great. I love this type of print. I think this is desirable. Again, I'm unsure of the age. I'm strictly gonna go by what this looks like. And I'll put in all the keywords so a buyer can find it if they are looking for this specific brand. But I paid $4.97 for this, and I believe I'm gonna price this around the $40 mark. I will look for comps, but if there are no comps of the same exact vase, I usually start a little bit higher, so I might even price it at $50. The next item that I want to talk about are drawer pulls or knobs. I pick up drawer pulls or knobs for cabinets and dressers if there are enough in the lot being sold. I won't pick up a couple of these. It has to be at least 10 or more, because my thinking is somebody has refinished a dresser or they're redoing their kitchen and want different knobs. So this lot was a lot of 25 knobs. I got this for $2.97, and they are a pewter color. The only knobs that I'm really not attracted to and don't pick up are the really shiny gold ones. I think they were from the 70s. They're very lightweight, they're very cheaply made. Any other knob or drawer pull, I have a tendency to really look at, because most times thrift stores don't put a high price on this, and knobs are expensive in the big box stores or furniture stores. So I will probably get, I have 25 of these, I will probably get around the $40 mark, if not more. And knobs and drawer pulls sell very quickly for me. So if you see these, you might want to take a look and even start to run comps and learn about drawer pulls. I'm going to see if I can get this in the shot. This is a hurricane lamp that I saw, again, from one aisle over, and very casually, very quickly walked to it and put it right in my cart. I didn't even look at it on the shelf. I knew this was something that somebody would want. And won't this be a joy to ship? Won't we love shipping this? So lamps are a chore to ship. This is going to be a much bigger box than what you think is needed. The whole lamp will be taken apart, the shades come off, every piece that comes off pretty much will be taken off, separately wrapped, and packed in a box. Sometimes the shades go into a separate box within that box. That's the floating box method, and I will use that. Having said that, I will build all of that price, all of those packing materials, all of that labor into the price of this lamp. But I know that the print on this lamp, if I could turn it around, and the coloring is very good. I'm not exactly sure if this is vintage. I don't think it's modern. I'm going to go by the plug, which I will show you the plug. So that's what the plug looks like. I have a tendency to think that's a vintage plug. I watch Crazy Lamp Lady's channel a lot. I love her. She's so educational. So maybe I will reach out to her. I know she's super busy. She has 2 children. And just like I said, a wonderful channel, so informative. And maybe I'll see if she's talked about this type of lamp. And yes to this, I paid $6.97 for this. And I'm guessing off the top of my head, this I'm going to put on for between $250 and $300. Look how good this lamp is. This is a double socket table lamp in the celadon green with a gorgeous gold detailing. Look at the lattice design, the turnkey. Do we love this? We love this. I love this. This lamp is so good. It's got good weight to it. It is vintage. It doesn't have its finial. I'm actually going to look for a finial for this one. I won't include the shade, but I think this lamp really needs to have a finial for its buyer. So yes to gorgeous celadon vintage lamps, and very excited about this lamp. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put this on for. Probably way too high. I'm going to say close to the $400 mark, which is a little ridiculous, but we know me. That's what I do. And a lot of times I get that kind of price. So I always start high when I'm in love with something and not too sure what it should bring, and then we take it from there. I don't mind sitting on an item for a while. So that is my whole video for today. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and thank you very much for all of you that are following my crazy journey. And stay tuned for, what are we doing next? I forgot. Stay tuned for a shipping video of how I ship all this craziness. Bye, guys. Here are some more of the crazy high profit solds that I have sold on eBay. I've started this series and you guys really seem to be enjoying seeing what kind of things brought what kind of profit. So let's get started. This first item is a Design Options Philip and Jane Gordon sweater. I first found this brand when I was looking at Michael Simon sweaters, which is also another good brand to pick up. This is an animal patchwork and it brought $89.99. I paid $4.99 for it. The next item is a Polo Sport Ralph Lauren leather jacket. I have a tendency not to pick up leather jackets. I feel they're very heavy and it's not as popular an item as I would like to think it is. But I did pick this up because of the Ralph Lauren name, and this leather was like butter. It was gorgeous. I sold this for $175 and I believe I paid $9.95 for this. The next item is something that I always pick up. This is Ralph Lauren Vintage, the Brook print. These were drapes with tiebacks. There's actually a whole Facebook group that will tell you what pattern name you have with your linens. And this, I sold 2 drapes with the tiebacks for $119.60. I believe I paid $2.50 for these. This next sweater is a vintage handmade sweater. I only pick up vintage hand-knitted items if they are very well done and have no issues. They can't have stains and can't have moth holes and the like. Especially if they have stains, I don't want to get involved with destaining stains that have been in an item maybe for a long time. I picked this sweater up for $4.95. It's just gorgeous, and sold it for $71.99. The next item up is a pair of men's flip-flops. Right away I saw the quality of the leather. I don't know how to even say this brand. I'm not going to even try. Maybe I will try. Picolinos, that could be a Greek name. But this is a leather thong flip-flop men's sandal, and I thought these were just gorgeous. $69.30. I paid $7.47 for these. Next item is Vera Bradley, one of the black quilted pieces. I've spoke about this before. I don't sell a lot of the printed items unless they're in pristine condition, and I buy them, at a very low price point. But the solid black always does well for me. I do pick up the black handbags, the black backpacks, but it has to be in really nice condition. This was super clean, and I got $69.65. I paid $5 for this. Next up is a crazy print vintage track jacket. This is very well visited, this type of item when I list it. This is a genuine 80s jacket, and I got $80.77. I paid $4.95. Next up is a pair of glasses. I did not know this brand. I had never heard of this brand. This is Warby Parker. I saw these glasses while I was waiting online in Goodwill. It was a very long line. And these were just set down like somebody was going to buy them and didn't want them and just set them on the counter. So I picked these up, and right away when I held them, really nice quality, and I actually like these glasses. This is probably one of my only items I was sorry I sold. These looked great on me. They were great glasses, but guys, you know me, I always want the money. So $69.50 and a great sale. I paid $2.97 for these. Next up is a 90s vintage tracksuit. I sat on this for quite a while. I priced mine very high, and it brought $119.98. I paid $7.95 for this set. Next up is a toile French country bed duvet cover. This is by the catalog brand Country Curtains. I'm not sure if Country Curtains even has a brick and mortar store. Somebody can leave a comment down below if you'd like to let me know. But anytime I see Country Curtains, I take a look at it because their quality is very good, and I've spoken about toile before. Toile is a print that has a very romantic scene to it, so it's either children playing or lovers, just beautiful. So it's great with the term French country in the title. This brought $112.49, and I paid $2.50 for this. Next up is a lot of wallpaper. I generally don't do wallpaper because a lot of the wallpaper I find in Goodwill or thrift stores or at yard sales is stuff left over from the 70s or 80s, and it's wallpaper gone bad. Really not good stuff. But this, the minute I saw it, I thought this graphic was really good. This is put out by a brand called Misprint. That's actually the name of the company. 4 rolls, $175 I got for this wallpaper, and I paid $2.95 for the 4 rolls. This little piece to the side on the right, I cut off of one of the ends because the roll was open. I normally would not take out a piece. I would never open an unopened roll, but since the roll was already opened, I did cut off a little bit to show the print because I was going to ask a high price for it. Next up is a pair of women's lace-up boots. I tried these on. I took pictures of them on my feet and put them on Instagram because these were unbranded. I knew that they were vintage. They kind of had the Fry brand vibe to it, but I don't believe they were Fry. I wasn't quite sure what I had here, but I priced them at $119.50 and got that price with one bid, and I paid $7.97 for these. Next up is a hand-painted handbag. This company puts out gorgeous designs. These items bring a very good return for the money. I picked this one up. I believe I paid, I quite don't remember. I think I paid $6.97 or $8.97 for this and got $104.50. I'm not going to try to say this name, but if you see this brand, absolutely check comps for this brand. This next item is another Vera Bradley solid black item, quilted. This bag was in gorgeous condition, $94.90 for Vera Bradley. Thrilled to get this. I paid $4.97 for this. This is a Fox Racing jacket. It was more like a hooded sweatshirt, and I put graffiti in the title, $112.32. I believe that I get high prices because I price high and I wait for my price most times. I don't rush to sell things. I don't know that this type of jacket normally brings this kind of price. I thought the graphic was good, colors were good, everything was good with this jacket. It had a very plush faux fur lining. So because it was a warm jacket, I really think that helped out. This next item is just yardage of fabric that somebody turned into custom drapes. I think this was probably made by a professional seamstress. These things were gorgeous. I did not try to hang these or open these up. This sold pretty much from it just being displayed like this. I might have had another picture opened up a little bit, but these drapes brought $204.18. I paid $6.97. The next item is an item I love. I don't have mid-century modern decor in my home, but this was in pristine condition, no chips, no cracks. It had the wood Lazy Susan, which is highly desirable. And yeah, this was in great shape, $69.42, and I paid $4.97. This ship was something that I picked up that I might have been crazy to pick up. It's not that this is an item that doesn't sell. This was so hard to pack, but I did it. I put cotton balls, regular cotton balls, between each sail to ship this item. I got $88 for this model, and I paid $4.97. And this last find was a favorite find. There's a little story that goes with this. You might have heard the story, so forgive me if you have. This is a belt. It's a vintage belt that a friend threw in my cart as a joke. So I was shopping at Goodwill bins. I normally don't shop at the bins, but once in a while I pop in, and a friend played a joke and threw a bunch of stuff in my cart. And when I looked up, he was laughing from across the bins, the room. And when I went to put this back, I thought, this is something. This is really good. So I kept it. I believe this was probably a little over 2 pounds. So I paid a couple of dollars because our Goodwill bins is $1.59 a pound. And I came home with it and listed it. I didn't find any comps for this. And I listed it and I put it on Instagram saying, hey guys, look what I found. And the belt sold almost immediately. And there's another seller, her name is Hazel Hart Vintage, and she messaged me right away through private messaging on Instagram and said, hey, if you haven't shipped out that belt brings high money. That's a very desirable belt. So I was willing to take the defect because I have no defects and I have very good feedback on my eBay store. And I apologized to the buyer and said, I'm so sorry, I priced this incorrectly. I had sold it for $24.95. and she understood. She was very gracious about it. I offered her anything else in my store, but she understood and she said no. And she actually didn't leave me bad feedback, which was a little feedback miracle right there. And I went on to list this belt for $400, and I gave them free shipping, and this belt sold at the $400 mark. So thank you to Hazel Hearts Vintage again on Instagram. I appreciate her help so much and taking time to help me out. And Instagram is a great community, and I really appreciate everybody's help over there. So those are the next high profit sales that are in this series. And again, if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave a comment, and I will be glad to keep doing this kind of slideshow. Thank you again for following me, and if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button, and as usual, go out and get what's yours. This video shows how to ship a hat. This is a men's hat. The buyer paid $95 for it, so this will be shipped in a priority box. This box is the large size priority mailer. It's for anything at all, but most people will use it for anything a pound and up, because anything 16 ounces and above is considered priority. So the first thing I do is place one piece of tissue paper across the bottom and two pieces balled up on a diagonal. Next, I place the hat upside down in the box like that, and put an additional piece of tissue paper in the crown of the hat. The next thing I do is fill the void of the box with additional tissue paper. The next two pieces that I'm putting in will go on the opposite diagonal sides as the original tissue paper that I rolled up and put in the opposite corners. So I'll go like this. And then the last piece of tissue paper will be folded, if I can do this with one hand, right like that. At the end, I will place a business card in the top and close the box. This box will probably weigh about a pound, so it won't be, expensive to ship. My buyer always pays shipping, and that's how I ship 90% of my hats. Ball caps are a little bit different, and I'll cover that in another video, but for now, that's how I ship hats, whether they're under 16 ounces or above, large size priority mail, especially if the hats are a costly hat. If the buyer has paid a lot for the hat, I'm definitely going to ship it in a priority mail. So here is the finished packed product, large mailing box. This was the Stetson hat that sold for $95. It wound up weighing 1.2 ounces, which definitely put it in the priority mail category. And you can find these boxes free through USPS website. I get a lot of these boxes, and they come in handy for all types of items, especially for men's hats. The next item I'm going to show how I pack is a ball cap. So a ball cap is usually first class mail. Very rarely are they heavy unless they have some kind of logo, applique patch, or metal charms on them. So this is going to go first class. So let's get started. Hopefully I can do this with one hand. So first, in the crown of the hat, I put a piece of tissue paper. With the piece of tissue paper in the crown, I then take one square of bubble wrap and protect the brim of the hat so the hat brim doesn't get bent. So this is what it looks like at that point. Next, I slip the whole hat into a Ziploc clear bag to keep it protected from any elements, any smells, just to keep it fresh until it gets to its buyer. And then I simply place it in a poly mailer. So this is going to a gentleman. So I give him a gray bag rather than one of my signature pink bags. This will get sealed, and I will let you know what the weight is. I do leave a little air in the bag when sealing the bag. The bag is now airtight, and I give it away. See what this weighs. So 3.9 gets rounded up to 4 ounces. So this will go first class, 4 ounces, and the buyer paid shipping. The next item I'm going to show how I ship are women's shoes. Most women's shoes, especially size 10 and under, will fit in one of these padded mailers. If they are under 16 ounces, then of course they're going to go first class, or if they're especially delicate or a high price, they will go in a box. But for the majority of the women's shoes that I sell, that fall between the price point of $20 and say $55, I use these padded mailers. You can find these padded mailers on USPS website, and they are free. I believe they come in packages of 10 and 25. If you order the package of 10, you can order up to 10 of those. So I do go ahead and purchase, order 100 of these padded mailers at a time. I usually order one a week. So I have quite a bit of padded mailers that I use. So let's go ahead and show how I ship these women's loafers. This is an LL Bean leather loafer. Not sure if I said that. So the first thing I do is put one piece of tissue paper inside each shoe. I don't know that this really does anything for the shoe, but to me it makes for a nicer presentation. It shows that I cared about the shoe and the shape of the shoe. So that is the first step. The next step that I do is I wrap each of these shoes in a piece of tissue paper. So I'm just going to put the phone down and wrap it, and I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so there's the first shoe, all wrapped with an eBay sticker on the outside, and now on to the second shoe. So now both shoes are wrapped, and we'll get ready to go into a poly mailer. Most times I put the shoes next into a clear Ziploc. Even though I'm environmentally conscious and don't like to use, an overabundance of packing material, especially plastic, I do and have learned that putting shoes in a plastic bag is really important. A lot of times, especially with, these days with a lot of mail being delivered and mail carriers really having a lot on their route, I want to always make sure that these packages are protected until the buyer receives them. So especially with leather shoes, I will go ahead and slip these shoes that have only tissue paper on them into a clear Ziploc mailer or a clear Ziploc bag. So both shoes are in the clear Ziploc bag. One has the heel in first and one has the toe in first. It's important to make them as symmetrical as possible because you're going to be trying to fit these without crushing them into a padded mailer. So I've learned by alternating which end you put in, it just makes the shoe fit a little bit nicer into the package. I then slip the shoes into the padded mailer, leaving the Ziploc partially open. That way, as the shoes slide into the bag, the air gets pressed out of this bag. Especially if this is a tight fit, you want to leave this open a little bit, and that way the air will press out of this bag, and then you can go ahead and seal it once the shoes are in. You don't want a lot of air trapped in this bag because it's going to be harder to get into this package. So now we're all sealed up. Our business card is in there, and we're just ready to seal the bag. And there you have it, women's shoes being delivered in a flat rate envelope, padded mailer that I got free from USPS on their website. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the scale and measure these weight-wise, which you don't have to do because anything that fits in this padded mailer ships up to 70 pounds, I believe. But we're just going to go ahead and take a look at what this weighed. Yep, so you round this, it comes out to 1 pound, 4 ounces. So it definitely needed to go priority. The buyer has paid shipping, and I love these padded mailers. I use hundreds, if not thousands of these monthly. So so there you go, and very easy. Now any women's shoes that are above a size 10 or 11 most likely will not fit into this padded mailer unless it's like a flip-flop or something like that. You might be able to put them on the diagonal. In that case, most times I'm going to put shoes into a box, into one of the USPS shoe boxes, which are also free on the website. One thing to note is using these flat rate padded envelopes, you do take a loss of about 13 cents, I believe it is. The buyer pays $8 for shipping in one of these, and if you list this as the method of shipping, that's what eBay's going to charge them. As a seller, you get charged $7.33. So you would think that there would be an overage in your account of 67 cents. But what happens is when the buyer pays $8 for shipping, you get charged eBay fees, that 10%, it's 9.4 or 9.6, I'm not exactly sure. You get charged those fees on the total sale. So let's say the buyer paid $10 for shoes to make it easy, and he or she paid $8 for the padded mailer. The total cost of his sale was $18. eBay is going to charge you the 9 point whatever percent, I should know this, on the full sale. So when you use these envelopes, I believe you're losing 12 cents every time you use one of these envelopes. But in my mind, the ease of using these envelopes is great. They're free, they're padded, they're very secure. So I realize that for every padded envelope that I use, I'm losing 12 cents. But that's not something that I'm going to worry about. I, like I said, use hundreds if not thousands of these, and I'm real happy with this product. So just an FYI to keep an eye on your costs. If you are really pinching pennies, you might be better off with buying poly mailers, which if you buy them in bulk, I think that winds up being about 2 cents you can make your cost be, where this is 12 cents, so you'd be losing a dime a package. But like I said, for the ease of use, these come right to the house, they're free, and I like that they're padded. There's like a small bubble built right in, so it gives extra protection to the shoes that you're shipping. So yeah, padded mailers, that's how I ship women's shoes, anything over a pound. So the next item we're going to ship are a pair of women's Nike sneakers. Again, we're taking one piece of tissue paper, sorry for the noise, and putting the ends into the sneaker like that so that it just gives a nice appearance. We're placing the shoe diagonally on the tissue paper and wrapping the tissue paper around the sneaker like that. I've forgotten my tape. The end of the tissue paper then gets taped. So this is what the first shoe looks like. The next shoe. The shoe gets stuffed. It then gets placed again diagonally on the paper. The shoe gets wrapped. And it gets taped. When I'm not filming, this takes me all of 10 seconds. So there are the finished shoes. The shoes then go into a Ziploc clear mailer. This keeps the shoes dry from any weather if it gets left out on somebody's porch or something like that. So the shoe will get placed in toe first, so the toe into the bag. Next, it'll get placed in heel first, so that the shoes sit together nicely in the smallest amount of space possible. These shoes weigh over 1 pound, so they have to go priority. Again, I'm using the priority padded mailers. It's a flat rate envelope, so anything that fits in this, I believe it's up to, let me see, for international shipments. Now, the maximum weight for international is 4 pounds, but these are very expensive for international. But for domestic, for in the United States, I believe 70 pounds. I don't see it listed anywhere, but the maximum is 70 pounds on these. So I leave the Ziploc portion open and slip the shoes into the padded mailer. And I use my stomach to press it in. So don't forget that part. Okay. Lastly, I seal the Ziploc bag. If I can get this sealed. Okay. The ends get tucked in. I have a business card in this top drawer. And there you have it. This gets sealed. Nike sneakers packed, usually in under a minute. There's no need to weigh this. You just choose a US padded mailer on your shipping choices in eBay and a label will get printed out. This next item that I'll be shipping is a stoneware pottery bowl. So this is approximately 6 inches across. It definitely weighs over a pound, which puts it into the priority category. And there's several things that I want to consider when shipping this highly breakable. So the first thing I consider is the size of my box. When I ship an item like this, I want the wall of the box to be at least 3 to 4 inches away from the side of the bowl. I want this bowl to be suspended inside the box. So what I'm going to do is wrap this in tissue paper, then bubble wrap, and then whatever packing material I use will be in the bottom of the box to fill some of the void, and absolutely have packing peanuts around the bowl. This way, the bowl has no chance of being jarred or hitting the side of the box. That's what you want to do with breakables. You're always looking to suspend the item inside the box and not have it touch any of the box walls. So let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully this camera angle is okay and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So the first thing, like I said, is I wrap in tissue paper. Tissue paper does basically nothing to prevent breaking the bowl. The only reason I use tissue paper is to save the item from being scratched. I think it does buffer if there's ever a chance that the item is, might get its surface scratched. And plus I think it just gives a better presentation for the buyer to know that I cared. So step one is always tissue paper. Next up comes the bubble wrap layer. The bubble wrap I use are the small bubbles. I believe this is considered either 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. It looks like it's a 1/4 inch to me, small bubbles. I don't really care for the large bubbles. That's my personal preference. I feel with the large bubbles, if 1 or 2 of those bubbles were to break, they would leave a larger square inch area with no cushion. With this size bubble, if 1 or 2 break, you still have plenty of cushioning around that area. So that's just my personal preference. I don't know if any of that is true or not, but that's what I've come to find. Okay, so now the bowl gets placed on the bubble wrap. The end of the bubble wrap goes into the bowl and the bowl gets rolled. And then this last piece of bubble wrap, the end, I actually make a cuff out of it and place it like that. This gives an extra cushioning to the bottom rim, and stuffing it inside gave cushioning to the top. So let's go ahead and see if I can do this without making too much noise for you. So that end piece gets taped, of course. This end gets taped. Okay, so that's what our bowl looks like now. We don't need this tissue paper any longer. Next is the box to consider, like I said. You really want this item to fit with plenty of room around the sides. But see how this, the sides, the walls of this box are closer to the edges if I pack it this way? I'm going to put the bowl in this way, so there's a lot more room clearance. Now, one thing with having said that you really have to be careful of is dimensional weight. Recently, USPS increased their prices again, and with this latest price increase, they really increased the dimensional weight. They're taking into account the size of their packages for how much they can fit on a truck, understandably so. Having said that, you have to be careful if any of your packages are going to be over a cubic foot. Cubic foot is considered 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. So any item that's going to go over that, that dimension is going to raise you to the next rate. So when you ship an item, you do want to use the smallest box possible, remembering to keep as much clearance around the item as possible. So with this box, this is going to leave me plenty of room, and I think this will fall into the 12 by 12 by 12. I should be fine with this because I'm going to say that's about 13 or 14, but then I have the sides. It's cumulative. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pack this and start to pack it, and I'll come back. Okay, so this might get a little bit noisy, but we'll see how we do. So with an item being needing to float in the box, you do have to fill the rest of that space with void because that item has to be totally secure. It cannot move in the box. If the item is able to move in the box, your item most likely is going to get damaged. So you're trying to fill the void of the box with the cheapest, least expensive, cost-effective packing material that you might have on hand. So you wouldn't want to fill all the void with bubble wrap because bubble wrap is one of the most expensive void fillers. So what I do is I save my bags from the thrift stores and I pack these up and make a bowl out of them and I fill some of the void with that. So the whole first layer of this box will be these shopping bags. They're not the small ones from the grocery store. This is a heavier bag and a little bit bigger. The whole bottom of the box will be filled with this type of material first. And this is what this looks like. I fit 8 plastic bags in the bottom. Now, the average person might not have as many shopping bags as I do because I shop and thrift a lot. So my bags are really plentiful at this house, and this is how I use them up. I feel these bags are not great for the environment. So as many times as we can use these bags, since they're being produced anyway, in my mind is the best usage of these. So like I said, I have 8 bags stuffed in here. So far, this cost me nothing. I have a free box that I saved from the grocery store. I make sure it's nothing saucy, always clean, and I fill it with these bags. The next thing I'm going to do is put tissue paper. So you're probably saying, why would she put tissue paper again? But I want the buyer to know that there was a clean layer between this and the plastic bags, because they don't know where I got those plastic bags. They could think I'm using like grocery store bags and might feel a little bit like, they might be a little bit schmutzy. They're not as clean. So I always want them to feel that the packing material is very clean, and this looks nice. So the next thing we're going to do is put a very small layer of packing peanuts. The reason I put packing peanuts in at this point is again to fill any of the void, all the little cracks and crevices. So that's what that looks like now. Now you're probably thinking, how is she going to fit the bowl in the box? But you'd be surprised how much void needs to be filled, how much packing material you need. Okay, so my bowl is now in the box. The tissue paper is there, the packing peanuts surrounding the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this up to the surface of the bowl with the packing peanuts, and then we'll go from there. At this point, my packing peanuts have been filled, and I have put an extra of these scrunched up plastic shopping bags, one on this side and one on this side. Already you can see that the bowl has very little movement. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this void with packing peanuts, top one piece of tissue paper, and then we can close the box. Another thing I should mention is when you fill that last bit of packing peanuts, you really want to overfill by a small amount. That way, when you compress it down and close the box, there is no way that that bowl is going to move in there. So let's go ahead and put our business card in on top of the peanuts. The last piece of tissue paper goes in. And this is what the buyer will see when they open the box. And that bowl is in there. There is no way that bowl is going to move. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the box. And I'm going to tape. So here is the finished product. The bowl is packed. It's secure in there. There is no way that bowl is going to break. I have shipped thousands of items, and to date, I think 2 have had a problem. One was some china I shipped in my first week of selling. So that was a little crazy that I took on dishes the first week, and I had no idea what I was doing. And the buyer was great. They did get a little bit chipped. I did file a claim with USPS, and they were great about returning the money, and I let the buyer keep the dishes that did not break. And last year, when I was getting ready to go on vacation, I was exhausted, and it was my fault. I didn't use this method. I shipped out too quick for something that I thought could withstand, and it could not. So with any boxes that you get that are not USPS marked, you want to just give a quick look at the box to make sure there's no UPC scannable codes. If there is, I go ahead and put a fragile sticker on it, but I generally use these fragile stickers anyway. I don't know if it helps the USPS people keep better care of my packages. I don't think it hurts, and to me this is for the buyer. This is to show the buyer how much care I took with their package, so that if there winds up being a problem, it doesn't look like I was a bad seller. They get the feeling like, okay, this seller cared. Her business card is in there, she took great care packaging, and they're going to go ahead and message me and say, hey, I got this, it's great, but it broke. So I think I have more of a chance to help the buyer out if there's a problem, if I take this much care and put these kind of labels. So let's go ahead and measure the package. This is 13 inches. I thought that'd be around there. This is 9. We went that way. Oh, and I have to do height. And this is 10. So that definitely falls within the 12 by 12 by 12. So this is pretty much just going to go by weight. The dimensions are not going to affect it price-wise. Let's weigh it and see what this weighs. I'm going to guess just under 4 pounds. Oh, it's under 3 pounds. So it's 2.11 ounces. So that's 3 pounds. You always round up to the next pound. So this is 3 pounds. I do build the cost of my time to package these items. I build in the cost of the packing material, any material, every piece of tissue paper, every piece of bubble wrap. That's all built into my price. So it's not like, I'm putting all of this extra work in and then I'm going to have to absorb the cost. You can be sure that the big companies, Pottery Barn or whoever, are building the cost. They know the cost of their time and the cost of their materials, and we should too as sellers. Thanks for watching, and as always, go out and get what's yours.